Welcome to the GuthrieAmerica podcast, where we sit down with the amazing people who are doing life in our community and the people from here. My name is Heady Coleman. I'm your host. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting down with Coach Terry Bennett. Before we jump into this conversation with Coach, will you please go ahead and subscribe to the podcast, to all the social media outlets, share this episode. It would mean the world to me. Coach Bennett, how you doing today?
I'm fine. I'm blessed.
Now, I had Miss Tarter on recently, Cheryl Tarter, and I asked her, when students become adults, do you have a preference on what you want them to call you? Do you want them to keep calling you Coach Bennett, or they call you Terry now, or Mr. Bennett? Have you ever thought about that?
They just call me Coach.
Yeah, if you're a coach, you're always a coach, right? You just Now, I know you as a coach, a teacher, but also you're a cook.
Yeah, I do a little grilling, barbecuing, or whatever you want to call it. Kind of picked that up and became kind of a great thing to do on the weekend.
Okay. So who is the better cook, you or Terry, your son?
He's a chip off the old block, so we do some things different. So
now, did you teach him, or did he kind of learn on his own?
I kind of gave him the foundation, and he kind of
Got you. He started kind of making it his own thing.
Yeah.
Now, do you do anything in the kitchen, or is it mainly just grill and smoking and stuff like that?
Well, I can kind of cook just about everything in the kitchen everywhere.
Okay.
The wife don't really like to cook.
Oh, okay.
She like to bake
the sweets and the cakes,
and stuff like that. But as far as main cooking meat and vegetables, I kind of do all that stuff.
Now, did you do that as a young man too? Like, did you grow up kind of cooking, or was that something you got a hold of later in life?
Well, our mom kind of taught us how to cook, so we just got to learn.
Yeah.
You have brothers and sisters, you got to learn how to do things.
Yeah, for sure. How many siblings for you?
I have three brothers and one sister.
Okay. Do they all live around Guthrie, or?
I don't know if you know Wesley Bennett Jr., do you?
Yeah, I know Wesley Bennett.
His dad is my brother. So.
Okay.
And then I got another brother named Wayne. You probably know
Wayne,
him.
yeah.
So.
All in the area, grew up around here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had one brother, he passed away about a year ago. So.
Okay. Yeah. What was it like for you growing up in Guthrie versus like when you start raising your kids here? Was there a big difference?
Well, not really.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, it was always a lot of our Pee-wee coaches that would spend time with us and take us different places. And it's kind of the way it is now. I think coaches are involved in their players' lives quite a bit on and off the field and on the court. So you just kind of trying to keep them on the right foot and doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Because they're easily influenced nowadays. So.
And nothing's changed about that.
No.
Nothing's changed about that. Now, what sports did you play when you were younger?
I played everything. I played football, basketball, baseball, ran a little track, did about everything. Kids used to do all the sports.
Yeah.
Just the way to be involved in things, because back then it wasn't a whole lot of things to do.
Yeah. And sports was kind of that outlet for you.
Yeah, filled in all the voids. So.
Yeah.
Plus, when you grow up in a small community, you learn all the kids and you play with them and develop friendships and sports things that you kind of carry on. Yeah.
Did which one Which one were you better at?
I would say football.
Okay.
But I played baseball too and basketball. I was maybe a little bit above average in all of them.
Got you.
But not great.
Yeah. Yeah. Baseball, I'm still trying to figure out why it feels as though African American kids don't stick with baseball. And I feel like all of us, when we get older, we're like, man, I should have played baseball. I should have stuck with baseball. You know? Do you think it's just because?
Well, I think it's numbers wise.
Okay.
Like with basketball, you can play 1-on-1 or 2-on-2. But if you're going to play some football or baseball, you got to have more numbers wise.
Gotcha.
To play a game.
Gotcha.
I mean, you just don't have enough kids in the neighborhood to play baseball.
Yeah, because
you can play basketball. You can play 1-on-1 or 50 or whatever. So
yeah. And even with football, you can do like 3-on-3. You know, like you may not, you don't need to have a whole, but football, you can still get a quarterback. You got a quarterback and 2 receivers.
Yeah, you can play touch football.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's true too for us. Like there was never space to just go and play baseball. Or like where we could always play street ball. There was always a park with a basketball goal. Yeah. And so those kind of are the sports that we seem to have gravitated to. To me, it seems like.
Yeah. Well, you got a few playing golf now.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah.
And tennis.
Yes. My son played tennis. He was a tennis player. But, you know, the thing that helped with that was COVID. Yeah. He couldn't play soccer or do anything else, and he started playing tennis because we go out there and play tennis, and he fell in love with it. And so, did you ever coach tennis?
No.
You didn't mess.
I just coached. I coached everything. I coached basketball, girls basketball. Only thing I didn't coach was wrestling.
Okay. So, you stayed, but you would have if it would have opened up for you or what?
Well, back when I was in school, they had did away with wrestling.
Oh, okay.
But they brought it back like a couple of years before we graduated. But it wasn't really a major sport back then.
Mm-hmm. So you had a lot of coaches that influenced your life, or you had coaches that influenced you as a young man?
Yes.
When you were getting ready to come out of high school and graduate, did you know that you wanted to go into coaching and teaching? How did that happen?
Well, I guess I was around athletics, involved in sports, so it always became natural to become a coach. Mm-hmm. Because basically that's all we did. We played every sport, every season. So you go from one sport to the other.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of a way of life. You're always involved in athletics. So it just almost came natural.
Yeah. And then so whenever you graduated high school, you go to college. Did you go to college right away or?
Yeah.
Yeah. No military or anything like that. Go to college.
Well, there was a thing going on called Vietnam.
Uh-huh.
And if you wasn't going to school, they'd take you to Vietnam right away. But if you had going to college, you had a deferment. You couldn't be drafted at that time if you were in school and making grades. So.
Wow. So was that some of your motivation at that time?
Hey, back in 1969, as soon as we graduated, they put us on a bus and took us down for our physical examinations to be inducted into the Vietnam War. So
wow.
If you wasn't going to school or something, you was signed up already.
Did you have to get on the bus, or because you knew you were going to school, you never went?
What they would do is you'd meet at the post office on a Monday morning, and they'd drive you down for your physical.
Wow. So as long as you were enrolled in college, you didn't have to go do that.
Well, you had to be taking so many credit hours to be a legal student. So.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. See, I may have known that, but never heard anybody actually say that. Like that was.
Since we graduated, they was taking us down the next
Monday.
Yeah. For a physical thing.
How many friends did you have did you have a lot of friends end up going that you were close to?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bunch of my classmates that went.
Yeah. At that time, did they just find, and you may not remember, but did they just find like going to college was just something that just didn't seem possible for them to be able to go? Or did they want to go? Probably a mix of both.
Some people wanted to go.
Yeah, yeah.
And you didn't really have a choice. if you passed the physical.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Man.
The Vietnam War went on for a while, too.
Yeah. Yep. Do you remember friends coming back? Like the stories, they probably just had some of the craziest stories coming out of that situation, huh?
Well, I knew a couple of guys that was from Guthrie that they got killed in the war. So, and they would have this little, I think it was a restaurant over here on Oklahoma and 33. They would always put their names up on the wall.
Oh.
If they got killed in the war. So,
as a way of honoring them, they put the name up on the.
Yeah.
Wow. So you went to college though. Where did you go to school?
I went to Langston.
LU.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And decided to go into education. Like, did you do general ed? How did they do that? Like, do you go into history and become a coach, history teacher, or
you declare a major?
Okay.
So usually you just take some general courses your first semester or two, and then you kind of steer you to the field that you want to go. Like if you're in education, you go to educational courses, and you have an advisor and stuff like that that'll help you get the right courses to take.
Good. And then you decided to go into teaching and then eventually coaching. Yeah. Did you always teach in Guthrie?
Yeah, I did.
You got lucky.
I got lucky.
Unlike your son, he went away for a little bit, then came back.
He went to Rogers Middle School.
Yeah. Was that the only other? Did he do another one? Did he just do Rogers?
He went to Rogers.
Okay, yeah. I remember that time. He was down there for a little while, too.
Yeah, I think he was there about 3 years, maybe 4.
Yeah, he's down there a few years. So you go to Langston, LU, close to home. So you still living in Guthrie, or did you live on campus?
I commuted.
You commuted?
I didn't have a job.
Oh, okay. What were you working at back then? Like, what kind of job did you have in Guthrie in '69?
I worked at Golden Age Nursing Home.
Get out of here. Yeah. That's where you do some work at now.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Matter of fact, Holly Chapel was the owner, and he was my Pee Wee football coach. I started working for him on the weekends, doing some things around his house and stuff. He would always put me to work, so he was a great man.
Yeah.
Very instrumental in my life.
Yeah. So you worked for him in college, and so then did you continue to work with him while you were teaching and coaching?
Well,
because you still work there now. I didn't know if there was you just been working the whole time, or did you come back?
When you teach, you would have the summers off. So I worked for him in the summer. He had some businesses and different things, and he could always put me to work.
Gotcha.
And help was hard to find.
Yeah.
Like he said, help's hard to find, but good help is almost impossible to find. He said if you find some good help, you better keep it. You can hardly find it anymore.
So he kept you for how many years has this been?
A long time. I worked for Holly for a long time.
Yeah.
Actually still working for some of his.
Yeah. The family.
Yeah.
Still. Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool. I did not know that. And so so you teach, how many years did you teach?
31.
31 years?
Yeah.
I keep telling people don't stay on jobs that long anymore.
No, they don't.
It's like we jump around and have 10 to 15 jobs. We don't have careers anymore. We just kind of go from job to job. It feels
burnout
like.
is, teachers get burned out pretty quick nowadays.
Yeah. What kept you from not being burnt out?
Well, actually, I kind of love coaching and trying to steer kids in the right direction. Trying to help them beat some of these challenges from day-to-day life, man. 'Cause if you get on the wrong track, you almost ruin your whole life. A lot of guys just locked up from making mistakes. So they couldn't get off and get on the right track.
Yeah, and that's kind of what kept you keep you from burnout, because you had a passion, you had something that you had a mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're coaching and teaching, it's more of an outlet. Because a lot of times when I have the kids and come out for sports at the beginning of the year, I just tell them, hey, this athletics is like a classroom outside, but it's the same principles. You got to learn and you got to move on and try to get better every day at what you do.
Yeah. Now that stuff, they're not teaching you that at Langston, and is part of your major, right? Like, where do you learn this stuff? Was this just stuff you took from your other coaches when you were younger? Like, where did you find like the right words to say and how to give direction in certain things with life skills? Like, where did you learn that, or you just kind of take things from your own life?
Well, it's kind of like you took things from different coaches that you had and different people that you met, and you try to pass on the good things to the kids, because some of them are lost when you get them.
Yeah.
You just try to show them it's a better way.
Yeah.
And if they want to improve their life, they got to maneuver through all these different obstacles and come out on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of obstacles.
Yeah, it
is. You're just trying to figure out how to navigate them the best you can. So you've been a coach, but you're also a father.
Right.
You're a teacher, a coach, a father. What is the parallels there, or what does that look like? Do you try not to coach when you go home, or are you just like, these same principles I'm doing with these kids are the same ones I'm doing with my kids at home? Like, what was that like for you?
Well, you know my son, he's pretty opinionated too. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
Sometimes, because kids are a lot different than they were when I was coaching.
Yeah.
And what they are now. So he was saying kids now are kind of spoiled, and they don't want to put in all the hard work to become better, but the ones that do are going to be miles ahead than the ones that want to take the shortcuts.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, it's all about putting in that work.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And so, but Terry was your son, Terry Jr. was an athlete.
Yeah.
I had him on the podcast, and he tells a story about how some of what helped him was your willingness to let him do things even at the house that you saw that he had a passion for. I think he talked about there was a basketball goal up in the house or something so he could play basketball.
Yeah, he loved the basketball in the house, out on the driveway.
Yeah.
He just
gravitated to that.
Yeah.
Was it hard to distinguish for yourself, father, coach? Because did you coach him too?
Yeah, I did.
Like, how did you manage that? Because right now, we kind of watching Deion Sanders on this national collegiate level with his sons, and him being a father versus a coach. There always seems to be how he tells those stories are different.
Yeah. Well, with my son, it was he was pretty well receptive until he got a little older, and then he started venturing out.
Yeah.
Kind of want to do things this way.
Yeah.
You always come back to the basics. And so I tell him, if you got a good foundation, you're gonna be all right. You got to have that foundation. But a lot of times we want to skip over the fundamental stuff and just go to the end result. But too, sometimes I think when you look at high school athletics, a lot of times they want to just go straight to the final result instead of working your way through the process.
Yeah.
Because every player on that team got a certain job to do, and they won't function right unless everybody's doing the same thing and pulling in the same direction.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna kind of jump ship off coaching and stuff, but because you grew up in Guthrie, you probably had friends when you were younger. Like, have you been able to kind of keep the same friends since you were a young kid, or what does that look like for you growing up in Guthrie?
Well, a lot of my friends that I grew up with, they moved out of Guthrie. You really don't see them.
I know exactly what you're saying.
So you just you'll see them every once in a while when you have a class reunion or something, but you don't really see them a lot because a lot of them, they want to get out of Guthrie and move on. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my classmates, not very many of them are still living around here that,
right.
That I hung out with on a regular basis. They all look to get out of Guthrie as soon as they can. And so then they even tease me now about still living in Guthrie. It's like, why are you still in Guthrie?
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to recruit them to come back together. I'm like, you need to just come on back to Guthrie. You just down the road. Come on, move back home.
But that's quite a few of Guthrie's players now too have moved from Oklahoma City to Guthrie, and they moved out of the big communities and moved back to a little smaller community.
Yeah.
Which just seemed to be more of a family oriented team rather than just having a big group of kids and from all over.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I like the smaller community aspect versus the big city personally. And so, and it's cool too. Like, my kids so far have stayed around, so I'm really excited about that. Your kids staying around Guthrie, right. It makes it feels good to be able to have them, and then I'll be able to see my grandkids and things like that. So hopefully they stay around.
Yeah, yeah. It was different. I think. Like Terry, he wanted to get back to Guthrie when he was in Oklahoma City. Mm-hmm. That was one of his passions, to be back in Guthrie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he's been able to pull that off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me, how did you meet your wife from Guthrie? How did that transpire? I love to ask about people how they met their wives and their spouses.
Diesel was a cheerleader for Guthrie when I was in high school.
Oh, okay.
She was on the cheer squad when I played football and athletics here in Guthrie. So
y'all just been around each other all your lives.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. Do you always ask people, do you have an 89er spot? Like, when you watch the parade, where are you hanging out at?
I usually hang out right there on Oklahoma and Ash.
Oh, you right there by Golden Age.
Yeah, Golden Age. And right up 2 blocks north of the house. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an easy win for you.
Yeah.
Tell me, what was your favorite school growing up? Did you have one of your schools? Was they the favorite?
Well, actually, when we grew up, it was neighborhood schools.
Okay.
I went to Page School, which is right there where Mount Olive Church is. Mount Olive Church is now.
Was it behind it? Or was it right there in that spot?
It was right there on that spot, actually. It was like a little bit more further to the east, though.
Okay.
You can kind of see that retaining wall in the back of the church.
Okay.
Page actually faced the south.
It faces, okay.
So
the back of the school was north.
Yeah.
And then the front was south, like facing the blue courts.
Yeah.
Okay. Were the blue courts there when you grew up?
It was old Faber High School. Used to be across.
Oh, wait, right across from Page?
Yeah, it was on the corner. It was
really?
It was like a 3-story building.
So across the street Page where the blue courts are and the baseball, whatever.
Yeah.
That was Faber right there.
Faber was on that corner. It was a 3-story school.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Man, so do you remember when Faber was torn down? When that was taken down?
It stayed vacant for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I think it eventually caught on fire or something, they tore it down.
Okay. So Page, when did Page no longer, do you remember that? Like when Page was no longer a school?
It burned out.
It burned?
Yeah.
Everything.
It used to be like
did it burn down while I was a school?
No.
Okay. When I was vacant or something? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So did you ever go to the Guthrie High School?
Yeah. Went to Faber up until the 10th grade.
Okay.
And then we went to Faber. They built a new high school.
Gotcha. It's still the new high school.
Yeah.
It's still the new high school. Yeah, because I think my mom graduated in 71, I think. Okay. Esther Coleman. Mm-hmm. And so she tells me about Faber and the transition and all those things, because I think she said she was in junior high. So, yeah, if you were a sophomore, she's 2 years behind you. Yeah. I think she said she was in 8th grade when she went to the junior high, wherever that was.
Claudette was in my class.
Yeah, Claudette was in your class. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, so Claudette and then my mom and then Cynthia was 2 years behind my mom, I think. So, yeah. So what was that like transition for you, especially as an athlete? Were you already playing sports with the white kids, or what was that like for you?
Yes, we started that like in junior high.
Okay.
We played together in junior high. Like Faber would play with Fogarty, and they just had one junior high team.
Gotcha. Was Faber 6th through 12th?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
7th through 12th.
7th through 12th. And Fogarty was the high school?
Fogarty was
the junior high?
It was, I think Fogarty was a neighborhood school.
Oh, it was a neighborhood school. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had like Cotterell and Fogarty, which is like neighborhood schools now.
Yeah, the way that we have it set up now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought whenever they recently made this switch, I was like, oh, this is new for Guthrie. No. But then when I started talking to people, they was like, no, we had neighborhood schools back in the 60s or 70s or whatever. And so I did not know that, which I kind of like the neighborhood schools. It puts you with kids longer, I guess. I guess you would always be with the same kids.
Well, it's more of a subculture, I think, too, because if you're in this sort of part of the community, you're going to grow up with those kids in your area. and you're going to have those schools in your area, too. So.
Yeah.
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 And you're going to have those schools in your area, too. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah, I guess there is subculture about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you begin to play sports with the kids before you actually start going to school with the kids.
Right.
So did that make it easier to make that transition?
Yes.
Yeah,
it did.
because you already knew them, and it wasn't as though you all had not had any interaction with each other or any of that stuff.
Other than sports.
Yeah. It's funny that whenever I talk to my mom about it, it was interesting that she grew up in Guthrie, but whenever I talked to her about being a young kid in Guthrie, she didn't interact with white kids. I'm like, Guthrie's not even big enough for you not to interact. But I guess when you just stay in your own subculture.
Right. Well, you got those neighborhood schools.
Yeah.
So the only time that they intermingle was through athletics.
Yeah. Or if you see them at the grocery store.
Yeah, well, like in they had like Pee-wee sports on Saturdays, Pee-wee basketball on Saturdays, and Pee-wee football, which they kind of did it by sections of town too, and let all the kids that was in this area play on one team, and all the ones that was in this. And then once they became older kids, they put them all together.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's just wild when she tells me those kind of, because I can't imagine what that was like. But for you all that lived in that time.
Well, actually, my wife grew up on the west side, so she was one of the black families that went to the white schools because she was in that district.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was on the west side over Banner, and
yeah.
it was burned down too.
Yeah.
All of the old schools are gone.
Yeah. What's up with old schools burning down? It's just, because Banner burned down. So when you were growing up, Banner was a neighborhood school, or was it a?
It was a neighborhood school.
Yeah. I went to Banner just for a little bit for kindergarten, I think, or something like that. But I don't remember it a whole bunch.
Well, Guthrie used to be full of neighborhood schools. The old administration building was Central School, I think.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah, that was a school.
Boy, that was a tiny school.
Yeah.
But I guess if you had a whole bunch of neighborhood schools.
Yeah.
But now, was that a neighborhood school for black kids, or was that a?
No, I think it was
for white kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything from Lincoln to Perkins to Springer, I think. Back to the South was.
Gotcha.
Mostly the black community.
Yeah. Huh. Well, yeah, things have definitely changed now. So, I was going to ask you, you had a period of like only coaching boys, and then you transitioned to coaching girls.
Yeah.
Like, what was that like? Was that a decision you made, and what was the difference?
Well, actually, it was actually, I was always kind of an assistant coach to girls basketball.
Okay.
Because it fell in the umbrella of PE. And the girls basketball class was doing one of the classes that I taught during school. But they had their own coach, which came in. And then after the season was over, I would have the girls by myself.
Okay.
in a regular PE class. So kind of transitioned to girls basketball.
Did you see a big difference in how you had to coach boys versus girls, or?
Well, they are pretty emotional. Girls are. So, but you can almost coach them the same.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them was getting real emotional. So you just kind of got to know the ones that you're dealing with. And
right.
The ones that are competitive are pretty competitive, though. So
yeah,
you can coach them pretty hard.
Got you. For the ones that were competitive, it was almost just like coaching boys.
Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah. And with some of those girls who may not
Yeah, they get too emotional pretty quick.
Yeah, so you got to be it's kind of like me raising sons versus my daughter. Right. And so there was just a different approach that I had to take to my daughter because and she could communicate that to me like, Dad, I'm a girl. I don't see things the way you boys see things, or my emotions. And she told me that like in first grade. I was like, oh my goodness, because I woke her up one day and she just started crying, and I was like, why are you crying? She's like, because I'm a girl. You don't understand. I was like, you're right. I know.
That's true.
Yeah,
that is very true.
And she was in first grade, and ever since that moment, I did not wake her up. Her mom would wake her up because I was like, oh, I don't understand at all. But yeah. But it's really cool to be able to have that dynamic in the house to where raising boys and girls, because it does help you. I feel like it's helped me in life to understand how to work with both male and female. So it's been really good. Really good. Tell me, what are some of the childhood, do you have any childhood stories that are fun from back in the day when you was growing up that you remember?
Holly Chapel was my football coach. He was a big OSU fan. He'd come by and load us up, and we'd go to OSU games on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Spur of the moment thing, we'd just go. We did a lot of that. So
yeah.
Went to a lot of OSU games. We'd leave about 30 minutes before the game was. Everybody be at the game, and we'd drive up. So back then, it wasn't as many fans either. So you could leave Guthrie and get there and just park and go in the game.
Yeah. OSU didn't quite have that same kind of umph as OU did back as much as they do now. Like OSU has a lot of fans.
Yeah,
and that stadium is bigger too. Yeah. I think they expanded that stadium.
Yeah.
So because of that, are you an OSU fan? Or are you an OU? Like which one? Are you on?
I like them both.
Yeah.
I went to a lot of OSU games and with Holly, and I just kind of like both of them.
Yeah.
I don't prefer one over the other, but I mean, it's just good athletics. That's what you want to see, good sportsmen.
Right.
Yeah.
What was it like for you to be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
It was a blessing.
Yeah.
Anytime you put that much time in being a coach and trying to give back to the community and to kids, it's a good thing that you can see some of the fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
And try to be an example to the kids growing up that if you set your mind to doing something, that you can be productive and help other kids along the way, which we are here for the good of the community and to make life better for everybody.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. Whenever I saw that you had been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Yeah, how did you find out?
I think my son told me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't know if they come and knock on your door and there's 100 people standing outside, let you know you've been inducted, or just something like that. Terry just told you, which is probably an honor for him.
Yeah.
To be able to tell his dad.
On a committee or something. Put people, good people that have played sports and have been involved in Guthrie athletics to present them.
Yeah. I think that was pretty cool. What are some ways that you encourage people to give back to the community?
Just be a positive role model.
Yeah.
Be kind to anybody if you see them on the street. Like I used to tell the kids at school, we all God's children, We got to spread love around who we can.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. That's a good answer. behind you we have a Choose Guthrie sign. We have those out at different places throughout the community. For you, when you see those signs, what does it mean for you to choose Guthrie?
Well, my wife say we need to do more shopping in Guthrie. It's spend more money in Guthrie. But I told her, hey, you earned all of your money in Oklahoma City when you was working. So, and we do spend a lot of it in Guthrie. So
Yeah.
when you're employed in Guthrie, it is good if you give back to the community and put some of your funds into the community.
Yeah, for sure. But
she drove up and down the highway for 30 years to Oklahoma City working. So
yeah. You said she got quite a bit of her money from Oklahoma City, huh?
Yeah.
No, Choose Guthrie definitely would. Just how do we just make it a priority? You can't do everything here, but whenever we get a chance, let's just try to invest our dollars in Guthrie. I was going to also ask, what is it like for you as a father to see that your son is now kind of followed in your footsteps?
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. He loves Guthrie. He loves Guthrie Athletics. Actually, he's part of the coaching the night at the high school. He works up in the box on Friday nights.
Yeah.
And he's part of it.
Yeah. No, that is really cool. I love this. I enjoy seeing kids who kind of follow in the footsteps of their parents, and it's always good. You want to give a shout out to any more of your family, to your wife? You got anything special you want to say as we get ready to close out?
I'm just thankful for my family.
Yeah.
They support me in everything I do, and we love them all.
That's good. Good. Coach, thank you so much for taking time out of your day.
Thank you for having me.
Sitting down with me and sharing a little bit of your story. This is really cool. You're one of the ones, as far as my age, you, Coach Young, there's coaches that anybody's going to be talking about is you, Coach Bennett, and Coach Young. And we're thankful for your leadership and what you mean to our community. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much.
I think they're talking about putting Coach Young into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah. So, that would make sense. That would make sense. So that's so good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for hitting that play button for another episode of the GuthrieAmerica podcast, where we sit down with fabulous people from our community. We want to share every story. We say our mission is to have every story told of the fabulous people who live in GuthrieAmerica and who are from here. Question I like to end with, ladies and gentlemen, is will yours be next?